Ladies and gentlemen, we come now to 3 rounds in the Cage Warriors women's flyweight division. Please welcome both warriors as they make their walk to the cage. Introducing first, Diana Capita Filipa.
Well, we're back for our 3rd contest here at the Cage Warriors preliminary card. Plenty more action to come and a real mouth-watering bout here in the women's flyweight division. Diana Capita Filipa making her way to the cage, Josh.
Yeah, not a huge amount of experience here for this young lady. Only just 18 years old, bringing a record of 1-0 into this one, all the way from Portugal. Obviously, it can sometimes be tough for ladies to get fights in their varying weight classes, and Cage Warriors always happy to put on the women's matches.
Absolutely, we've had some fantastic women's matches over the years, as you say, Josh. Plenty of former Cage Warrior stars have made their way to the UFC, and we've seen that in both the male and female divisions. So what a chance here for the likes of Diana Filipa and Cornelia Holm to make a
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Cornelia "Connie Future" Holm.
Yeah, you don't really get any amateurs with a record like this lady. She's making her pro debut tonight after having a bout cancelled last year. But throughout her amateur career, she's on a 9-fight win streak. But let's just be honest about where they came from. You know, she won the 2016 IAAF World Championships, took silver in the European Championships in 2015, and then won gold at 2016 and 2017. You want to know what makes it even more ridiculous? She did it at a higher weight class. She did it at 135 and 145. She's here tonight looking in shape at 125.
Absolutely phenomenal. There's no two ways about it, Josh. Cornelia Holm ran riot in the amateur division. A lot of people very, very interested to see her professional debut tonight, and you and I are lucky enough to have a cage side seat.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is 3 rounds in the Cage Warriors women's flyweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist with a professional record of 1 win, no losses. She stands 5 feet 6 inches tall and weighed in at 125.6 pounds. Fighting out of Villanova de Gaia, Portugal, Diana Capita Filipa. And her opponent, fighting out of the red corner, tonight making her professional debut. She stands 5 feet 5 inches tall and weighed in at 125.8 pounds. Fighting out of Gothenburg, Sweden, Cornelia "Connie Future" Holm. And when the action begins, the referee in charge, Simon Small.
Referee Simon Small is about to get this one underway. 3 5-minute rounds in the Cage Warriors women's flyweight division. Cornelia Holm, Diana Filipa, both in the black. Holm with the pink hair.
Holm looking a little bit the bigger fighter here.
Perhaps to be expected, Josh. As you say, has competed 1 and 2 weight divisions above. Nice 2-punch combination from Filipa there.
Yeah, they're both fighting over that lead hand. It is an orthodox versus southpaw matchup here. Good short technical shots from Filipa.
Yeah, nice left hand there from the southpaw stance. Looking very focused.
I mean, Filipa clearly a very athletic lady. Often a very defining factor in some of the ladies' contests. And a good combination on the inside there.
Yeah, certainly not looking intimidated by the credentials of Connie Future.
A lot of Holm's fights have gone the distance. Really takes her time to put their opponents down.
Looking to close the gap there. It's Cornelia Holm.
It was a good short shot to close the distance. Collar and elbow tie here.
Filipa doing her best to fight back in close quarters with those short punches. Needs to create some space to just turn herself off the cage, and she does. Right back on there, though.
Yeah, doesn't want to reach up too high with that left arm. And oh, I like the turnover attempt. Oh, and pulls guard here. Good decision. She was almost on the verge of giving up a body lock, which would have perhaps forced a more awkward defensive posture for her. So she accepts the closed guard position here. Looking to open for an armbar. You can see she started to hip out. There we go. Just can't be too lazy with that posture. Gives up side control. Like the willingness to try it, but it was just a little bit too wide and open. You know, you don't quite have the grips you have in gi jiu-jitsu. You've really got to walk those inner thighs up the opponent's shoulders, maintain your squeeze with the adductors the whole time.
And if you thought her amateur campaign was terrifying enough, Josh, she's told us earlier this week that she's been preparing long and hard for her pro debut. She says she trained harder and has been more focused than ever before on her goal here for a professional debut. She said, the stage is mine, the cage is mine. It's been calling my name for a long time, and now I'm here to answer that call. Well, October the 14th, you'll see an upgraded Cornelia, the 2.0 version, Connie Future, and the future is mine.
I mean, look, she's got a fantastically traditional ground and pound side control here.
Oh, we can call her Connie McGregor with lines like that.
She's doing a really good job of, she had the top underhook, a really good job of keeping the hips down, was looking to put her knee on that near arm, really pin in the crucifix position and throw some strikes, and you know, she's had a lot of success early. I like that grip of the left arm on that underhook. It really does allow you to pin your opponent to the mat if you move to more of a north-south position. Again, settling in, you see immediately that left arm go up for the underhook, keeping hip to hip. That's the important thing here for her, to generate that rotation on these punches. She's got to keep her hips pressed down.
Absolutely crushing performance so far from Cornelia Holm.
Yeah, this is a bit of an unusual north-south position. She's not sprawling her weight out. She's looking to trap the head around the knees. There we go, looking to sprawl out on the shoulder. And this kind of off angle, this 45-degree on the shoulder position, is horrible to try and get out from underneath. You know, it's not north-south, it's not side control. Really does force your opponent into a bit of a no man's land.
Diana Filipa certainly going to have to go back to the drawing board should she survive the final 30 seconds here, Josh.
Yeah, looking to pass this guard now. She did a good job of turning the knee in to open up the legs. Good work from Diana to restore, but she gave up that right underhook. She did the hard part, but she stayed turned on her right side. She really needed to hit back towards Holm as quick as possible.
Short elbows to the body there from Cornelia Holm. Not a visually fascinating round, but certainly Cornelia Holm kept up just enough of an output there for the referee to be content to let them play that one out. As we said briefly beforehand, Josh, before we take a look at these replays, Filipa going to have to go back to the drawing board.
Yeah, I mean, that was the experience showing, to be quite honest. I mean, you know, the inexperience perhaps of Filipa to throw that very loose armbar, and Holm didn't need another chance. You know, this was a good takedown scramble, but you see from this top position, she stayed very positionally heavy, did a good job of moving around, a good job of throwing enough strikes. And unfortunately for Filipa, you know, she was doing well on the feet, threw the round away with a bit of a sloppy close guard armbar attempt.
Yeah, some nice striking combinations. She managed to mark Cornelia up early in that round. Holm, though, looking more than content as we head into the second frame. And we hear the referee there just warning both fighters there about putting their hands forward with open palms. You have to close your fist now when you move your hands forward.
You see it straight away. They both paw with the open lead hand. Again, Holm looking to bundle away into the upper body tie.
we really have tried very hard in mixed martial arts to do something about the eye poke situation, and that rule's really the best we've got so far to stop these things happening. Obviously no one wants to see a fight end like that, and you'll see referees more and more now warning fighters to keep those fingers closed and eventually taking points. I've actually seen someone disqualified for repeatedly advancing the hand with an open palm.
And rightfully so. This good head position again from Holm, pressing up against the cage. She did a good job of using a forearm as a frame actually, and then replacing it with her head. Oh, and this is the first time we've seen her attack the lower body, connected the hands nicely, sucking the hips out, textbook work against the cage.
And this is not where Diana Filipa wants to be, Josh.
No, but she's got options here to stand back up. She's close to the cage, she can put her back on it, start walking up. We've already seen though, she's not afraid to open her guard and attack, and you know, that unfortunately was her undoing in the first round. It'll be interesting to see if she tries to do it again here.
So much more action yet to come this evening. In 1 hour's time, we go live around the world on UFC Fight Pass, BT Sport, red button. We've got Lou Long, Jack Shaw, the Welsh invasion here at Cage Warriors 87.
Again, Holm doing a great job here of controlling the biceps, heads in the center line. She's staying low, she's popping up, throwing shots, getting back down. Again, this is just seasoned control for basic ground and pound in mixed martial arts. You know, it's not devastating. They're not huge shots where she's posturing up and really letting those hands fly. Here you go, see again, setting up the armbar. She cannot be loose with that an outside leg.
And we heard the referee for the first time there just asking for a bit more action if the fighters want to keep this position. It's not enough to just be on top. You have to be working to either attack or improve that position.
Good guard recovery from Filipa there. Nearly gave up a very easy half guard position, but just managing to simply hip escape.
I mean, what does Filipa need to do here, Josh? What's the game plan? If you're in Filipa's corner, what instructions are you giving her?
I mean, look, she wants to open an attack. You can see she's thinking about it, but she knows that she got past easily. She lets her opponent stand up here. She's in a lot of danger, looking possibly for a leg entry there. But everything's just a little bit loose. And when there's strikes involved, when there's sweat and a lack of clothing, and you know, the grips are just so much harder. She's doing a good job there, trying to hook over the glove, but again, just a little bit loose. You've really got to use your adductors to walk up and control the upper body of your opponent.
I think the majority of Connie Future's wins at amateur were by decision.
Again, she's trying to sneak it through, but
does have a couple of submissions and TKOs on there as well. Certainly a well-rounded fighter if ever there was one.
Yeah, and that forearm on the face from Holm can be very frustrating, you know, because it pushes your head away, it forces some postural kind of uncomfortableness that you have to deal with. Again, she's looking to stand and pass.
Now, just to pick up on that, Josh, as the frustration sets in, does it become perhaps a little bit easy to make a casual mistake just out of a little bit of flippance, perhaps?
Yeah, it absolutely does. You know, you can see she does want to get this guard active. She's trying to create the angle there again, but she just doesn't have the control points in place that she needs when she goes to attack.
Lets Filipa up there, does Holm. Perhaps a bit of fatigue setting in. Nice body kick there from Filipa.
Yeah, I mean, this is forward pressure from Filipa. It's good. She's got to get hips to the ground. Good sprawl. Excellent defensive posture. Good knee, possibly on the way up.
And perhaps we're seeing a turn in the tides here. If Filipa can break, and she does, she's got 30 seconds to put it on. Yeah, I mean, Connie Holm here.
Let's see her open up with some strikes. She's the one marching forward in the center of the cage and starting to worry the Swede, perhaps.
Nice combination, striking again.
Don't give up she gave up the crossface. She had that underhook in place to really try and drive the face of Holm away. She gave it up, and that has allowed Holm to complete this takedown.
But you've got to think, going into this third round now, Josh, that Diana Filipa can see a way to win, which we hadn't seen for the previous 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, she showed there she can stuff those takedowns, and if she can stuff them and do that successfully, it gives her a platform from which to work. She is looking the fresher fighter now.
Let's take a look back at some of the action from that second frame. Here we see Cornelia Holm charging into that takedown. Beautiful stuff.
Yeah, great classic double leg. Never gave Filipa a chance to get the legs wide enough to form a good base. And here was the armbar, just very loose, never controlled the arm the whole way through. Again going for it. Holm just defending easily by pulling the arm out.
And just kicked Holm away, got back to her feet, but then we didn't get the chance to see it there, but Diana Filipa did her best work in the closing 30 seconds of that round with the striking combinations.
Yeah, you know, the decision on that second stuff of the takedown, that was a little bit disappointing. She did the hard work, she timed it, she got the underhook, she got the forearm in front of the face, and then gave up a bit of a needless takedown. Got to say, probably both the first 2 rounds going the way of Cornelia Holm, but you know, Filipa is still very much in this one, and you know, we can definitely see a way she can win this.
Now the seconds are out, the third round is underway. And Diana Filipa, centre of the cage here. She's going to have to pull something special out of the bag in this third round. She'll have to stop her opponent to get a victory here.
I mean, that's one of the more significant bits of power she's thrown on a strike so far. There we go, shooting it again, sucks on the single. Oh, she stepped out of the first takedown. Butterfly guard now as Holm looks to march her way up.
I saw a couple of frustrated looking cornermen in Filipa's corner there.
I want to see Filipa fire that underhook, get back to her feet from this half guard. There we go, there's the underhook, get back on her hip, plant that right hand and stand back up. And I have a feeling she's going to want to play in the closed guard here again, but you can see Holm's probably going to try and pin Filipa's right leg and start stepping over in a very tight kind of passing posture again. There we go, looking to kick the right leg out. She's going to bring that back in front and trap across the instep perhaps. Very solid, tight pass.
Looking to grab the wrist there and just try and create a bit of space perhaps, but Cornelia Holm having none of it here. Staying heavy on top.
I would love to see Filipa stand back up here. I know she wants to play this guard game, but she hasn't been successful with it yet, and to be honest, she hasn't really come close with any kind of sweep or submission attempt. She's really allowing Holm to burn the clock down in this top position.
Looking to create some space to stand up, but just not enough.
Oh,
can she scramble back to her feet? Now she does. Oh, catches her with an uppercut on the way in, but again she's given up that leg, Josh.
She's doing such a good job of sucking that single leg through.
Still looking very cool, calm and collected. It's Cornelia Holm.
Yeah, it's a
trying to go to work here.
Look at that left arm. That's a really nice, tight bit of control around the head and neck.
And the corner looking at the referee as if to say, how long are you going to let her just sit on top here? But Cornelia Holm perhaps just on the right side of doing enough.
Yeah, absolutely. She's working, you know, and Filipa's doing enough where Holm has to work enough to stop her, if that makes sense. It's, you know, it's very diligent, experienced performance. She's no stranger to going the distance in these kind of positional matches.
A little longer than we have seen her compete for before. Obviously used to competing for 3 3-minute rounds in the amateurs, 3 5-minute rounds. She's nearly got on the clock here.
Look how heavy she's staying on top here, really sprawled out, not giving Filipa a chance to really move too much underneath her. There are things Filipa could be doing here, but at this point, you know, that neck control is really forcing her posture to be turned.
It's not the most, you know, visually appealing performance from Cornelia Holm at this stage, but hey, she's doing enough to win on a pro debut, and it really is up to Filipa to do something about it, and thus far she's not been able to.
Oh, and you know what? You've got to feel that with the kind of amateur record Cornelia Holm is bringing into this, it's a lot of pressure to say, you know, hey, you can do it in the amateur ranks, can you do it in the pro? And she's getting a lot of cage time in her first pro bout here, and she's showing all the hallmarks that we would expect from that experience.
She's certainly always going to have that innate ability that, you know, if things are ever looking a little bit hairy for her, she'll be able to barrel in on one of those takedowns and shut an opponent down. And perhaps, you know, that was all this one was about, Josh, getting that cage time, doing the full 15 minutes. So obviously she's dealing with knees and elbows, different submission attempts that she's not had to deal with as an amateur. Perhaps this is just breaking new ground for Cornelia Holm.
Yeah, and I think Filipa has been a very game opponent. She's making a lot of very good decisions on the ground here, but just a little bit loose in these attempts when she chooses to open a guard, and that's giving very easy passing attempts for Cornelia Holm. I think it's fair to say it's going to take a pretty decisive decision victory here.
Perhaps almost certainly 10-8 in at least 2 of those rounds, just by virtue of Diana Filipa not really doing anything in the first and the third by way of measured offense. Cornelia Holm raising her hands to the sky. Let's take a look back at some of that action. Immediately diving on the lead leg of Diana Filipa, barreling in for the takedown. And that really was the story of this fight. As game as Diana Filipa was, Cornelia Holm always able to put her on the back and completely crush her and suffocate her from that top position. Short shots not really doing fight-ending damage. They all count, they all add up. And a very happy Cornelia Holm, Connie Future, with an emphatic victory here at Cage Warriors. Let's throw it to our MC, Andy Friedlander, in the cage. In just a moment's time, he's going to make it official.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. All 3 judges scored this contest 30-27 for the winner by unanimous decision, Cornelia "Connie Future" Holm.
A big win for Connie Future to start off her pro ledger on a positive note. She's with Josh Palmer in the cage.
I'm with our winner, Cornelia Holm. Cornelia, congratulations on a very diligent performance there. It's been a long time coming, this pro debut. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I guess it wasn't the most fun match to see, maybe, but yeah, I wanted to win and I got it, so I'm very happy. Yeah.
You had a lot of success in the amateur ranks, a couple of European titles, a world title. Did that put a bit more pressure on you coming into this one?
No. Oh yes, maybe, but I haven't thought about it. I just kept that out of my mind. It's everything is about me, no one else. So. Yeah.
Was the game plan really to get the cage time in, because you controlled very well on the ground throughout that bout?
Yeah, I did. The game plan was to finish, but also to take down and control and grind her out. So I did that.
Well, congratulations on a fantastic performance. We look forward to seeing you again. Ladies and gentlemen, your winner, Cornelia Holm!
Well, a big win for Cornelia Holm on a pro debut. But up next, we've got one of the highlights of our preliminary card. Wales' own Chris Evil Edwards taking on the big bad wolf, Brian Crichton. That's up next here at Cage Warriors.